Hi friends, it's Sarah, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are a new viewer, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, big welcome back. I'm glad you guys are here for another episode, and welcome to week 3 of Vlogmas My Style. I don't do fancy editing, so I just like to have some ambiance here. I've got a little Christmas tree, and then I do have a little garland behind me with some small hand-knit items on there. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you're here for it. And yeah, lots of fun things to talk about. So we'll get right into it. So for shop update, again, this week we're going to talk about Advent. So I think I showed you everything last week. Yes, I did. Because I'm thinking to myself, did I show you everything? I did. But I did finish spinning another skein. I have one that's currently on day, let's see here, 4. Day 4 is Jacob, is currently on my wheel. So I won't be able to show you that one right now, but I can show you the tunis. So I did finish the tunis, and I want to show you an example. So tunis is more of a down type wool, and so it has more of that, it's loftier. It's really, if I show you, it'll make more sense. So here is the Icelandic, and like the Shetland, there it's nice, has nice drape. And then here is the tunis. So I don't even have to like balance this on top of my hand for it to just stay like this. So I'm literally just holding this in one spot. This is probably going to fall because it's just balancing, but there, right there, you can see the big difference. So there's major drape with the long wools, and your more down wool is going to have this spring back, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I want to show you close up. So this is the tunis, and it's just so pretty. It has a really nice bounce factor to it. This one had some fun texture to it as well. A really interesting fleece, very soft. Interesting spinning experience, learning from the different textures of the wool and then the little intricacies of the fleece itself. So really beautiful color to it. It's not pure white. It's got like that creaminess, and then tunis, I believe it's the tunis, it has kind of that reddish, it has like a reddish color to it. It's really beautiful. So that's the tunis fleece. Spun up, and again the Advent was for 20 gram fiber samples, but I did give them a little extra because there was just a touch of veggie matter in some of these. This was one that had some veggie matter in it. I got a little fur on here now. I worked so hard to get the veggie matter out of it, and this one just held onto it with all its might. And it's because I did leave, of course, just a little bit of lanolin. I like to leave a little lanolin. And if I had removed all the lanolin, I might have been able to get more of that veggie matter out. But especially as a spinning experience, I felt like that really helped it be a positive spinning experience, having the lanolin to help it just smooth, slide nicely, have a little grip. Just a really beautiful spinning experience as far as the fiber goes. And just fun little barnyard texture in there. So it I don't know, it's part of the joy and the, I think the what you want to call it, but it's just, that is like right off the sheet kind of wool. So I've washed it, but it does have some of that veggie matter. So it's kind of fun. Character, that's the word I was looking for, character. So that's the tunis, and yeah. And then hopefully I'll be done with that Jacob soon, so I can show you the Jacob as well. Hopefully I'll be able to show you that last week of Vlogmas. And then the next week, Clone Forest, which is another new to me spin, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, the tunis was not from Michigan, but I'm thinking if this is true. Yes, every other fleece that is in the Advent this year for Multifarious Nature is wool from sheep in the state of Michigan. So it's really special to me. I really wanted to showcase the area, showcase the wool you can get from here. But really, you could get the wool from anywhere if you wanted to wash it. and the US does have quite a few breeds of sheep to choose from. So there's my little shop update end of things. I think I did not, I'm thinking to myself, did I? I did not. I don't think I showed you guys the entire advent for Mellyknits. I think I showed you the last day, but I didn't show you its carded up. So Mellyknits advent was a spinning advent as well. However, you had to, this one, I got the Great Guts Adventure, and I highly recommend you check out my playlist for the Great Guts Adventure, because I went through and showed you how I create bats from each of these, and how I pick the wool for each day. So there's 12 days, and I did finish getting them all batted up. That's the right word. Turned into bats. So first of all, I just have to show you the last day. I don't think I showed you guys this, but here is the last day turned into a bat. It has such beautiful texture. I'm going to try to get a little closer for you. Such beautiful texture. There is recycled sari silk in there, and it is a really cool fleece that is from, I did talk about it in my last video, but burn pile wool for Mellyknits. That's how she started, and that holds a special place in my heart as well. So I thought that was so cool. So her advent is definitely not designed to necessarily knit together. And I probably won't. Initially, I was going to, but the more I think about it, the more I think I'm just going to grab from it when I feel the need and create something interesting with it. So I don't think I'll necessarily work with all of these wools together in a piece, just because some of them are quite unique. And yeah, but I'll show you what they look like. So this is the entirety of the box of fluff from day 1 all the way in the corner over here, and then it goes through to day 12 here. So that is the entire Mellyknits advent for 2025, and it's really cool. It's the Great Guts Adventure. I'm really looking forward to making some neat projects with these. Like I said, these are all 20, I think she said 25 grams. So really, you'll be able to create a decent amount of wool out of that and make some really fun projects. So I'm excited to mess with it and see what I want to do. There's some really cool blends in there. As I mentioned, if you check out the playlist, it explains how I blend some of these, and I think you'd find it fascinating how sometimes some of these things are really a pain to blend and take quite a bit of time. So yes, I have a few long videos in there as well, so I hope you'll have a nice drink with you, something fun to work on, because yes, there were some that took multiple passes. Speaking of drinks, I've got my little mug. So another Christmassy mug. This is a little treasure that I found at a thrift store for 25 cents. How cute is that? It's got a little Santa on there, a little St. Nicholas, and then there's some beautiful detailing there as well down there, and just in beautiful condition. And I use it just during Christmas. So I wrap this up. And I actually have coffee in here. It is 2 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm drinking coffee, and that's probably not the best idea, but I have a lot on my plate today. This is my work day from home, working for Multifarious Nature. So I am recording on Friday, normally record Thursday, but I wasn't able to. We actually, crazy weather end of things, talk about that in the life update, but I have some nice holiday coffee in here that is a special holiday blend that our local grocer has, and it's so good. It kind of smells like toffee. Or hazelnut. I bet it's like a hazelnut and Arabica beans. It's so good. And then I've just put some whole milk in there and just a little dollop of fresh whipped cream on there. So that is a little special treat for me today. So I'm enjoying that while I record. And it's really giving me that extra boost I need to keep myself awake. But It's just because it's been gloomy here. So I'll get into that in a second. But let's get in. Well, this is kind of works in progress as far as the Advent goes and an up and coming project. So usually I do like up and coming projects at the end. However, this one is one of the Advents turning into something. So I mentioned I wanted to do something with my Multifarious Nature Advent and create something with all that wool. It is all natural colors and they all go together very nicely. You do not have to knit something with all of them, but I'm going to. And I found a really fun pattern. It's a newer pattern by a very familiar pattern designer. And oh, actually, before I get into that, sorry, squirrel. I actually have just a touch of a little, I call it a bonus bat. So I mentioned in my Great Guts Adventure. This is why I have the coffee, guys. Like, I'm so tired. Great Guts Adventure drum carding experience. I was going to clean off the liquor in and the drum, and then whatever I had left, I was going to create a like epic chaos bat that has like tons of different fiber in it. And so that's what I did. It's a teeny tiny, really small. I didn't weigh it, but it's teeny tiny. And here you are. So there is my little chaos bat that has a little bit of everything in there from the Mellyknits Advent. So it's teeny tiny, but it's my bonus bat. It's my bonus little chaos bat. So there you go. Okay, now we'll get to back to the other Advent. So Andrew Mowry, one of my favorite designers, she is originally out of Michigan and now lives back in Michigan, which is awesome. Has a pattern that came out, and she's notorious for writing patterns that are definitely designed for hand spinning. And this one was definitely designed for hand spinning. You can use, commercial yarn as well, but it's really designed for hand spinning and many different weights of yarn, different quantities. And the name of the pattern is the Jaunty. And I'm sure you've heard of it, but if you haven't, here it is, the Jaunty. And that, I think, is her smallest size that she has on in the photo. And she's doing a spin along. She does a spin it to knit along, I think, every year for the past 5+ years or something. She's been doing it. And I love that. I have participated before. I did her spin it to knit along, gosh, probably like 4 years ago. And it was a pair of socks. But I made the dire mistake of using alpaca. It was an alpaca and a little touch of silk, and I wore a hole through it in one day, the socks that I made. So it's pretty tragic. But anyway, beside the point, the Jaunty is a shawl, and I'm going to work with my Advent and make a shawl. Surprise, surprise. I like to make shawls with my Advents. Shawls, blanket, primarily shawls. I just love shawls. I wear them a lot. I get great use out of them. I wear them in my house. I wear them outside. I've bundled up hardcore with my shawl from last year's Advent from Mellyknits. I wrapped that puppy around my head and it's so warm. I mean, Canadian wools. But I needed more wool. So my Advent alone, it is about 120 grams is what it comes to when you do the math. So that's about, or is it 120? Yeah. Like, am I doing that math right? Yeah, 120. Don't ask me to do math in my head's tired. But yes, 120 grams. And she estimates about 2 skeins of yarn, about 4-ounce braids. So 2 4-ounce braids, which a 4-ounce braid is about 100 grams, give or take, of yarn that you can make. So if I have 120, which is a little over a skein of yarn, I'm going to need another skein of yarn. And I thought, well, what do I want to do? You know, do I want to work with a fleece? Because I do have a lot of beautiful yarn or wool. And I do have more of the Icelandic wool carded up from the Advent. But I'm like, do I really want to use the same wool? I have beautiful Shetland from our sheep. Do I want to do that? And then I thought to myself, well, this is a holiday-oriented shawl because of it's an advent that I designed for this December. And I thought, well, you know what I have in my stash from 2 years ago is from Lair the Llama. She has hand-dyed yarn and roving, and this hand-dyed roving is a 70% merino, 15% yak, and 15% silk. Really beautiful blend, and it's called A Hint of the Holidays. And I'll show you. It's really pretty, very colorful, lots of fun, brighter colors, but then fun, moody, dark colors. It does feel like the holidays. It definitely makes me think of Christmas time, and it kind of has a little bit of that like Aurora Borealis feel to it. It's just really beautiful. And I got this 2 years ago, and I thought to myself, like, I didn't know what I was going to use it for. I just thought it was so pretty. And I thought, well, you know, this would be a really fun way to integrate some color into a very natural, color paleted wool shawl. And my immediate like picture of this shawl. So the way you work it, I don't know if there's a better photo. There isn't. If you go over to Andrea Mowry's Instagram, her YouTube, she shows how this works. But you work across it. It's a triangle shawl, but it's a wide wingspan triangle, so it's a very low depth triangle. And you work across it from one corner across, is my understanding. I'm pretty sure. I think so. I'm pretty sure. I could be telling you lies, but she has a video kind of about how she creates them, how she kind of thinks about designing them and everything. And she does a lot with yarns that are different colors, similar coloring, colors that complement each other nicely. And then sometimes you'll create like micro striping as you knit it. And so I kept thinking to myself, well, I want to use up every ounce of the wool from a hand spun. And what if, because the way the design works is it's genius. You knit to a certain point, and then once you use up, I think it's 45% of your yarn weight. So you have to figure out the total weight of your yarn, and then when you get to 45% of it, then you start decreasing. So that's how you know your shawl size. So her goal is to do 40, I think it's 45% instead of 50, because she wants to give you that little bit of extra wiggle room so that you don't play yarn chicken and run out of yarn. I have heard of people running out of yarn. So if you don't weigh it, that's usually what happens, is my understanding. So I think what I want to do, because trying to like totally mathematically math this is going to be tricky. But I think what I'll do is start with the color, then knit with all of one of my mini skeins. And then once I run out, start working with this color again as an in-between, and then do the next color, so on and so forth. And then what will happen is eventually I'll run out of this, and then I'll probably end up having a larger chunk of the really pretty colorful yarn. I think that's really going to be fun. The other part is, as it gets thicker, the shawl, as it gets wider, the striping of my hand spun from the advent is going to start getting thinner and thinner. And so it's going to create this really cool striping like design. And I just think that's really neat. I don't know. I can't say I've seen a lot of that on her, like on her projects. I didn't go through all of them, but I was kind of looking at them. But I just kept thinking, like, it's a really neutral design. It's like it's a half fisherman's rib design. So it's a really cool texture stitch, but it's all over like that. And I think, I mean, I really do, I'm visualizing it, and I really think that it'll display and show the striping in a nice way that won't conflict with the stitch work. I don't know. I'm really intrigued by it. I think it's gonna be really cool. It sounds wonderful. I have worked it with half fisherman's rib before. It is a lot of fun. It is very rhythmic, very enjoyable type of stitch. So I think that will be a lot of fun. So far, that's what I'm leaning towards, and it just started on the 16th. So it was great because you can also just use, so you can totally join still if you want to. And it goes from now, well, I should say December 16th, I think until, let's see, it was, let's see, January, no, December, I think May. I think it's until May. So you've got it like 6 months is kind of what I think she set it at. And her goal, I think, was what she said, estimated about 3 months for spinning the yarn and then 3 months for knitting. But of course, she said you could use any yarn. So if you have like hand-dyed yarn, if you have yarn that is, you know, store-bought yarn, the world is your oyster. It's open to everybody. And so even if you like, so that's why if you've already started spinning, you could totally still use yarn you've already spun or started spinning, which is so cool. I love that. So you could totally start knitting right now, you know, if you wanted to. I won't be able to start knitting right now because I want to start with this color. So that'll be the last one that I spin up because I want to get through the advent first. But that's what I'm going to be working on because I don't have enough projects. But I just thought it'd be so much fun, and it correlates with a project I'm already working on. And so I thought that would be a really fun way to use up the yarn that I'm making. Yeah, that just made a lot of sense to me. So there you go. So that is an upcoming project and a continuing project. I guess it'd be more of a continuing project is what I should look at it as. All right, now we'll get into the works in progress, and I really primarily worked on, yeah. I think I pretty much just worked on, well, I worked on 2 things. Recently, I've been working on my socks a lot. A lot. It's so much fun. I really love working on socks. They're very portable, they're small, and you guys, I'm really excited because this means that I can create a pair of socks in a month again. I tried really hard to do that kind of thing when I was working on my Advent 3 years ago. I did my my hand-dyed Advent where I did socks. So there were 4 sock sets that you would open throughout the Advent season. And I would knit a pair of socks. And I did the 2 at a time socks was what I did for at least one of the pairs. And then I did some other patterns. And, you know, it took a while to do. But this one, I did my 2 at a time socks. It's the Toe Up pattern by Patricia Campbell. Yeah, 2 at a time, toe up socks with afterthought heel. Very long title. But I've got 1 sock done, you guys. I've got 1 sock done. So there you have it. I have my toe, which is remnants of that Advent colorways. And I did the heel that way as well. And then I've got this beautiful German, actually I keep calling it German. I don't think it's German, but it is a really neat, I guess more economical wool. It's 80% wool and then 20%, I think, nylon. Really fun. There's some little flecks of other colors in there, but it's primarily a really deep blue. Super pretty. And here's my second one. I am currently working on the heel. So I actually have bound this one off as well, and I'm just working on the heel, and then I'll be done, which I can totally finish this today. I did the other heel today, and I am halfway done with this heel. I'm just loving it, and I'm really excited because this, based on when I started this pattern, I will finish this within a month, which is huge for me. That's a big deal. I don't finish socks that fast usually, so I'm really excited. That's like a goal I wanted to be able to accomplish, and being able to do that, I don't know, that just makes me really excited. So I'm going to finish these up today and then wash them, and they'll be good to go. And I'm really excited and ready to wear, which I love. So that is primarily what I've been working on. And then the other one that I worked on is another Andrea Mowry pattern, and is the Weekender Crew. So I am holding plutolopi in this beautiful burnt orange colorway. I'm holding it with, this is the old mill yarn cone. So this is that, like, it's cobweb weight basically, dark brown, and it has some alpaca and merino. It's a beautiful blend. It's absolutely gorgeous. Very thin and semi-delicate. And what I have found, I don't remember it being this way with a different project I was working on, but this one I struggled. I ended up taking my ball winder and winding off a portion of this to then work with. And it kept getting knotted. It kept getting knotted, and I would have to break it and then reattach and break it and reattach. And I had to do that so much that I just gave up when I got near the end of my little bitty mess of a ball. Oh, it's awful. It's like a rat's nest. And I was like, okay, well, we're just going to give up on that. And I'm just going to work directly from the cone. This is not a project I tend to bring with me because it is delicate. With the unspun, it has a tendency to break if you try to do it while you're like knit while you're in motion. I just guarantee you'll drop it and it'll tear. And it's not a big deal if this separates because you can just kind of felt it back together and then start knitting again. But yeah, so there you have it. But I have a sleeve. I have an entire sleeve, you guys. So I have a whole sleeve done. And now what I'm doing, because you're probably like, why are you not working on the sleeve? I am not on purpose. So not because I'm tired of knitting on sleeves. It's actually because I tried this sweater on before I did the sleeve, just to make sure that I liked where the body hit and everything. And I did. I love the way it hits. Now that I've knit the sleeve and I like the length of it, I am doing the collar. So I'm knitting the collar because that right now, you can't quite tell too much because I'm almost done with the collar. But before I got here, this was very open and gaping, which means that it can pull down on my body more than it would with the collar. And so by putting the collar, it helps to frame it so it'll stay where it's supposed to. And that way I can really get the true size of the sleeves, like where they're actually going to fall. I think they're going to fall at my wrist, but if they don't, and they're like way up here, I probably would, dare I say, unpick my sewn bind off, which being the fact that this is plutolopi unspun is kind of not something I want to do. So I really hope it's going to be where I want it to be. And then I will just knit the other sleeve, matching it up. No problem. But I just wanted to make sure it in fact is the length I want it to be. And the best way is by making sure it has a framed nice color. So that's why I'm doing it that way. I'm loving it. It's a really fun pattern. If you're not familiar with the Weekender, here we go. It's fun because you knit the sweater inside out, so that way you can knit instead of purl. And then once you're done, you flip it so that your wrong side, or your wrong side is now the right side. And then you knit the sleeves, and these are knit in stockinette. So you have your fun purl stitching with the slip stitches on the front and back, and then you have the knit stitches down the sleeve. So there's some really fun design elements, texture. It's a really cute sweater. And it's a lot of fun to knit. So I've knit the Weekender, and now this will be the Weekender Crew. And I'm excited to finish that up because, as I mentioned, it's creepy and cold here, and I love my sweaters. I'm wearing a sweater that I did not make. My mom found it at the thrift store. It is a Irish wool sweater. I think it's from Ireland. Super warm. Love it. So there we go. All right. That's it for my works in progress. I think that's everything for works in progress. So we'll get into life updates, shall we? I'm like the great floating head. Here we go. I have a cushion I'm sitting on the floor, and I just kind of like slide down it. Did I talk about my hand spun Shetland last time? Did I? Okay, I might be repeating myself. But I don't think I told you guys the amount. So that will be new. So if I already talked about this, you know, kind of half listen, but then listen to the dimensions because you'll know how much I made, which is exciting. So I've been starting to spin up, well, I mean, before the advent, I finished spinning this up. And this is Amanita's fleece. I did not finish her fleece, it's huge. But I did a 3-ply doing a chain ply. And this is from her spring lamb fleece. And we have a 230 yard skein, and then I have a 255 yard skein. So I got some nice yardage, which is awesome. Really fun color, a nice warm kind of fawn color is where she's falling. Really pretty. So not sure what I'm going to do with that. I could use this in that shawl, I suppose, but I kind of want to put the fun color in there. I do. So there we go. That's a little more work in progress. But now we'll get into the life update end of things. So as I mentioned, it is winter, and okay, so we went from spring, like peak spring temperature, to winter within 24 hours. And that's, that happens here in Michigan. We're right by the lake. And so because you're near the lake, a very large lake, Lake Michigan, it can really, we have kind of temperate weather. It's never super, super, super cold for the most part. And it's not usually super, super hot for the most part, which is really nice. And we get all 4 seasons, which I love. And I love winter. I do, in its own right. I love coziness. I love being cozy. And yeah, but I'm looking outside. We have these big fluffy snowflakes right now. And yesterday, it was, I think it got close. I don't know if it actually hit. They were saying it was going to hit 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which that's really hot for this time of year. I say hot. That's not a hot temperature, but like that's warm. We had, just to give you an idea, on Wednesday, we had about a foot of snow on the ground that was kind of compacted. So we had over a foot of snow on the ground, and then yesterday, a large majority of that melted because of the temperature, right? And so it rained all day yesterday, by the way. I want to add that because that kind of helped everything melt and saturate. And that's the hard part too, right? Our ground is frozen. And so there was always fear of flooding. We didn't have torrential downpours. It just was like this mist rain. It was just a mess, but it is what it is. Which you always have to worry about the sheep. So that's something I was thinking about. Like, got to watch the sheep extra carefully, because when you get those kind of thaws, that's when the parasite overload can become a problem. So I'm watching them like a hawk right now, just to be cautious. And I'm going to give them extra pumpkin today. But yesterday, up until I think midnight something, it was above freezing. And then we had a flash freeze is what happened. And it dropped to under 20 degrees. And then today, I think it's a high of 22. Oh, and did I mention that it shifted, of course, once that freeze came in, and it shifted towards snow. And so basically what happened is the ground got really saturated. We got a lot of moisture everywhere, and then it froze. So there was ice everywhere, and it started snowing. And so now we have ice under our snow, and it's fluffy snow because it's very cold. And so it's just really an interesting shift, because we went from like really warm all of a sudden, and now it's really cold again. And that's not the big deal, but it's that driving on ice and stuff. It makes me a little uncomfortable. I'm hopeful that my husband is all good. Everything's okay. Got to work okay, because he goes in very early in the morning. He works first shift. And so he got to work very early this morning, and I hope everything was good. I actually did my shopping. That's why I did not record yesterday. I actually did my grocery shopping right after work on Thursday, which was exhausting. But I wanted to do that because I figured one less crazy person on the road today this morning in this insanity. It was like whiteout conditions when I would normally go to the food store. It was just, and it's heavily snowing right now, but I mean, it was so white out, like you couldn't see the trees on the edge of our property. And the trees are like, when I say edge of our property, I mean the edge of our driveway, which is like 15 feet from the door. So it's not far, and I like barely see it because it was snowing so hard. And so just to kind of give you an idea, the weather's just been a little wonkety, which is kind of the way it goes. But right now it's quite beautiful. Again, it's like snow globe. I love it. I don't always like to talk about the weather, but like this time of year, Christmas, like I love the snow at Christmas time. I want snow. It's just beautiful. And I love the snow because, as many of you know, if you have the 4 seasons, it's really spectacular in the sense that everything goes into hibernation. Like all the trees go into hibernation and everything looks kind of dead, you know, like it looks lifeless. And then spring comes and everything wakes back up, and it's really magical. So it's kind of a beautiful story of how things work. And that's why, like at Christmas time and everything, it's just having everything has gone to sleep and waiting. Everything's in waiting. That's kind of what it is. And this is the season of waiting. This is the season of that. And in our life right now, for those of you that have been with me for a bit, know that we are in the adoption wait. That's what we are doing. We've been doing that now for, I'd say, about a year now since we've been active. Like our profile has been active. We've actually been involved with the adoption process longer than that, because in the beginning, to do your home study took months. I mean, it takes like months to get all the paperwork and everything done. So, yeah, it's been well over a year. And so we're still in that season of waiting, anticipating, that kind of thing. And so it's like this time of year is extra hard and special with all of that, because you realize it's like Christmas is a season of waiting, anticipating, you know, Advent. And that's what we're doing in our life in general anyway. So it's a really interesting parallel, I guess, the season of waiting. And it's just hard to wait and be patient for God's timing, but it's also okay. You know, it's okay. It is. It's okay. But there are times where I just don't want to wait. But yeah, so that's like a little bit about us again, as kind of a reminder as to where we're at with everything. In case you were wondering, I always like to keep everybody informed, and I know some don't want to ask because they don't want to feel like they're being a burden, and they're not. Like, that's the thing. If you ever ask or reach out or have questions, it's always appreciated. It really is. And it's not, you're not being a burden, and you're not causing pain. The thing is it's just, it's a part of our everyday life, really, just in general. So like being asked about it isn't like you're bringing it up, you know. I guess that's the way I look at it. And that also has to do with part of our story getting here. So if you're someone who's having a hard time right now, maybe you're going through a season of loss and grief, family members, things like that, you know, I'm happy to listen. Like if you want to send a message or anything, sometimes even just having a listening ear is better than having a response or unsolicited advice. I'm really good at just listening. I can just listen. So if you feel you want to just let that out and say that, you know, feel free to reach out to me as well. I'm more than happy and willing to listen. But I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope you are having a nice season. I know, like I said, it can be hard for a lot of us this time of year, but it's also such a beautiful time of year, and it's such a special, sacred time of year. And so I hope that you are allowing yourself to look inward and get some perspective, as well as just allowing yourself to give yourself grace and heal with whatever you're going through. And you can go inward, right? Going into your home and not always being outside because the weather, even, you know, and getting knitting in or whatever you're making is. I hope you're able to do that. And at this point, I won't be talking to you guys probably until after Christmas. So with that said, I would say I hope you have a Merry Christmas. I hope you're able to spend time with those you love, friends, family, even your animals, whatever that may be. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas season. And I will probably record before New Year's. I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna try really hard. If not, Happy New Year to you. But I feel like I'm going to. I will. I will, because I have to do my last Vlogmas. So, Merry Christmas. And I will see you. I will catch up with you after. Have a wonderful Christmas, you guys. Take care. Bye.